My playthrough of Silent Hill F has finally come to an end, and as my very first Silent Hill game, it was an experience. Let's dive in. The Silent Hill series hasn't seen a new entry in 13 years, so when Silent Hill F was announced, the anticipation was through the roof. Now typically, I'm not one to play survival horror games. I've completed a couple Resident Evil games before, but that's about it. So when I found out that this was a standalone entry, I pre-ordered and waited for the release date. When I first booted it up, I decided to play on the Silent Hill Experience difficulty. Basically, the story focused mode. This did end up making enemies overall pretty weak and easy. I'm talking on average 3 hits to kill. But I saw my friend play on hard mode, and that straight up became a Souls-like near the end. So I'm happy with my story difficulty. The only other setting I changed was to play on Japanese audio, which was a great decision as the voice acting was absolutely S tier. Do yourself a favor and do the same, it adds so much to the atmosphere. Now was finally time to play the game. From the very moment the introduction began, I knew I was in for something special. The overall atmosphere and the music were immediately setting the tone. My expectations were set. So I descended the lush mountain, entered the village, and met with my classmates. Then came the fog, and the game really began. It was that iconic Silent Hill atmospheric fog everyone always talks about. It creeped me out, but it also pulled me in deeper. The way it swallowed the streets and alleys, it felt almost suffocating. Then came my first enemy encounter, and those things were creepy as shit. Just the sounds they made were enough to get me. And speaking of sound, whoever was in charge of sound design did a stellar job. There were several instances where the audio itself would be more creepy than the visuals. Pair that with my new headphones, and I swear the sounds were just drilling into my head. It made every encounter feel tense. And that's when I realized this wasn't just a game I was playing, it was the atmosphere I was getting trapped in. Visually, Silent Hill F was absolutely stunning. The floral horror aesthetic, the fog, the environments, it all looked incredible and ran incredible for me. However, the atmosphere for Silent Hill F still has 2 hugely varying scores for me. While every instance in the village was pure awesome survival horror, I'm talking like a 90 to 95% score, the same couldn't be said for the parallel puzzle world. I understand its importance in the story, a point which we'll talk about later, but the atmosphere just didn't really stick here. Maybe it was the fact that you had an overpowered weapon. Maybe it was the fact that some of the puzzles on the side of the game kinda sucked. Or maybe it was the fact that it just became an action game on that side of things. Either way, the wolf dimension for me didn't really stick the atmosphere. But anyways, what about the combat though? Now let's clear this up right away. It's a survival horror game. The combat isn't supposed to be pleasant. You're playing as a teenage girl wielding a pipe. It just doesn't sound ideal. If the game just ended there, I'd love the combat. But again, what the was the second half of the game? A wolf arm? An ultimate? New combos? This game really just turned into an action game at some point, and when the combat is already somewhat unpleasant, it started to just annoy me. I'm talking waves and waves of enemies, Souls-like boss fights. This wasn't the Silent Hill experience I signed up for. The atmosphere from before was almost completely dried up by this point. Whatever. Surely the game will be saved by the story. Silent Hill games are known for their psychological stories, usually told through heavy symbolism, and Silent Hill F is no exception. Here's my grasp on the story so far. Our protagonist is a young girl navigating the weight of misogyny in 1960s Japan. The whole Fox side of the game acts as a metaphor for her arranged marriage. On paper, it's with a kind man, but she doesn't want to follow the same path her mother did. The tragedy is that he doesn't realize the marriage itself is hurting her. Now, I've only completed one ending so far, so I can't fully comment on all the different outcomes, but I'm planning a New Game Plus run soon to see the rest. That said, I really enjoyed the story on my first playthrough. The twists kept me hooked, the themes hit hard, and overall, I came away impressed without any complaints. But a good Silent Hill game isn't just about the story, it's about the scare factor too. I'll be honest, Silent Hill F started off terrifying. And I'm a coward, alright? I hate horror games. The first 2 hours had me on edge the entire time. The atmosphere, the tension, the way every shadow felt dangerous, it really nailed that horror vibe. But I wish the game had held on to that tone longer. As it shifted more towards action, the fear just started to fade. By the end, I wasn't really scared anymore, and part of me thought, is this really the best Silent Hill could do? Funny enough though, instead of turning me off, it's got me chasing that horror high. I've already started the Silent Hill 2 remake, and I'm hoping that one delivers the real scares. So in a weird way, Silent Hill F turned me from someone who runs away from horror into someone who's actively seeking it. So I guess we could say, it succeeded? So, did Silent Hill F succeed? Well, for me, it's a bit of a split decision. The village half of the game, that's where Silent Hill F truly shined. The atmosphere was thick, the tension was high, and it delivered exactly the kind of horror I was hoping for. That part gets a solid 9 out of 10 for me. But then there's the Fox half, the more action-driven side of the game. Honestly, the only thing I felt during those sections was wishing I could hurry back to the village. That part drops down to about a 7 out of 10. So overall, if I average it out, Silent Hill F lands a strong 8 out of 10. Not perfect, but a memorable first step into the series for me. So yeah, Silent Hill F may not be perfect, but it still hooked me regardless. Let me know down below what Silent Hill game you want to see next. I'm personally thinking Silent Hill 2 Remake, but I'm down for any of them. Thanks for watching to the end. This was Ethanime, and I'll see you in the next one.